The Eminence in Shadow Season 2, Episode 3, aka Episode 23 overall, The Hour of Awakening. So this is the final episode of the Red Moon Incident arc. So the vampire arc, this is the final episode. And we start off exactly where the last episode ended, where we have Sid just completely annihilating Crimson. So yeah, Sid arrived, dropped an atomic on Crimson, just completely obliterated him. And Sid's kind of confused. He's like, oh, maybe this is like one of those events that like focuses on group battles and there is no final boss. So he's kind of upset and disappointed. And so he decides to go leave and collect more coins. And just as he leaves, Claire and Mary show up. And of course, Claire is like looking for Sid, and she sees the body that was used for the ritual, and she realizes it's not Sid. And she's like, oh, maybe he wasn't here at all. Like maybe it wasn't him that got kidnapped. And that's when Queen Elisabeth awakens. The ritual was completed. So even though Crimson got annihilated, he was able to finish the ritual before Sid killed him. And her first act is to stab Claire through the chest. And then she brings Claire towards her and bites her. And Claire gets affected by the vampire virus. And that's when Beta and a few other Shadow Guard members show up. And they start taking on Queen Elisabeth. They're battling her. Some of them, or at least 664, is trying to heal Claire and keep her from dying, while Beta and the others try to hold off on Queen Elisabeth. And they're putting up a fight, kind of. I mean, they're completely slashing her and dismembering Queen Elisabeth, but then she just immediately regrows herself. Like, she just immediately reattaches herself. So it's basically a losing battle. And eventually, Claire has some kind of weird vision where she sees herself in the nurse's office at her school. But rather than the regular nurse, the nurse that's talking to her is one of the best girls in this series. And I'm not talking about Delta. Delta is best girl. But this is the second best girl. And that is Aurora, who you may know as the Witch of Calamity, aka Lord Diablos. So yeah, the big Diablos that Shadow Guard members are trying to take out. That's Aurora. And she is talking to Claire in this vision. And Aurora just looks freaking adorable here in her nurse outfit. And she's just kind of explaining about how humans evolved from monkeys, and how they found out that it's not just that if you put people in tough situations, they'll like evolve to adapt to it. But it's only certain people that already have the ability to adapt will adapt. It's kind of weird, but yeah, she's basically just explaining this. And the reason she's explaining this is she's trying to tell Claire that the demon possession that Claire had in her life, earlier in her life, that Sid already cured. But yeah, the demon possession and the vampire virus, or whatever you want to call it, they all originate from the same source. So kind of like how humans evolved from monkeys, the vampires and the demon possessions evolved from Aurora. Aurora was the original. And one evolved into demon possessions and the other evolved into vampires. So she's the original. And she explains that you have both within you. Like, you had the demon possession, and now that you've been bitten by a vampire, you have the vampire virus within you. So basically, like, Aurora's blood is within Claire. And Aurora tells her, like, we've ran out of time. Claire doesn't wake up, but the vision ends. And Aurora has taken control of Claire. And of course, the first thing Aurora does is unbutton her shirt to reveal some cleavage. And then she basically puts up a fight against Queen Elisabeth, where Queen Elizabeth's like just sending all these like blood spears at Claire, and Claire's like blocking all of them. And then we have this adorable moment where Aurora is about to do the atomic, Sid's atomic. In fact, she starts saying, like, I am all range. And she's about to say atomic when it turns out that Claire doesn't possess the abilities to use it. So, like, as soon as she's about to use it, her hand just kind of, I don't want to say gets destroyed, but it kind of just goes limp. And she's like, oh, this body doesn't have the magic abilities to possess this power. And the reason why I say this is adorable is because if you look in the background, if you look at Beta's reaction, when Aurora is about to use Cid's signature ability, you can see that Beta is like pissed off. She's like, like the expression is basically like, how dare you use my master's ability? But yeah, Aurora can't use the ability. So then she's like, it doesn't matter anyways because he's arrived. He's finally shown up. And that's when Cid has his grand entrance where he drops from the sky, and everyone's like amazed at him as he basically uses his slime abilities to intercept all of Queen Elisabeth's blood attacks. And we just have this hilarious moment where, if you remember from the last episode, Cid has put all the gold coins within his slime coat. Like all the slime that's on him has the gold coins within. So as Queen Elisabeth is attacking him and he's using his slimes to deflect the attacks are still hitting the gold coins. So his gold coins are getting all like cut up into pieces and being destroyed. And because of that, there's like this effect where there's like this like golden light shining from Cid. And like Beta's watching this like entranced. And as this is happening, like some of Queen Elisabeth's blood attacks are trying to hit the Shadow Garden members, but Cid's slime is deflecting them. And Cid's just repeating, I can't lose a single one. I can't lose a single one. I can't lose a single one. And Beta is watching this, and she notices that Cid's slime is protecting her and Shadow Garden. And so Beta automatically assumes that Cid's talking about her and like his loved ones. Like when Cid keeps saying, I can't lose a single one, she thinks Cid's referring to like, I can't lose Beta. I can't lose the Shadow Guard members. I can't lose my sister. He's actually talking about the gold coins. The gold coins is what he's trying to protect. He's not trying to protect Shadow Garden or Beta or anything like that. He's trying to protect the gold coins. And he's upset because he's deflecting the attacks and the attacks are destroying the gold coins. So he's like, I can't lose a single one because he's trying to protect them. But Beta assumes that he's talking about them, and she believes that this golden light shining out of him is his love, basically. It's like his magic ability and his love that's protecting them, when it's really just gold coins being destroyed. So, yeah. So Cid's... Eventually he sees one of the gold coins get destroyed in front of him, and he just loses it. So he teleports to Queen Elisabeth, and Cid drops a recovery atomic. So rather than I am atomic, he goes I am recovery atomic. And it deals this like explosion of lights that basically recovers everything. It's almost like a recovery spell. What I mean by that is all the ghouls turn back to normal humans, including Skell, who was just about to eat Poe. And it also gets rid of the bloodlust that was within Queen Elisabeth. So he doesn't kill her, he just makes her normal again. So yeah, he drops a recovery atomic to save the day. We cut to Claire, where Claire has like these new symbols on her arm, and she's like wrapping it up with bandage. And basically this is like a mark that Aurora puts onto Claire. And the symbol is there to allow Aurora to like come and protect Claire when Claire is in a difficult spot, in a sense. And so Claire has no idea what this is, but she's like trying to tell her brother that, I have this new strange power and these new symbols on my arm, and I'm going to have to go and discover what this is all about. And Cid basically believes that his sister has embraced the Chūni phase. So, yeah, Cid sees her. He's like, the symbols, the bandages, the talking about hidden powers. I know exactly what this is. And he basically just believes that Claire is going through her own Chūni phase. And he's really supportive of her. So he's like, you do what you gotta do, in a sense. So, yeah. Meanwhile, Cid and Claire are leaving on the train. They're disappearing from the lawless city. We see Mary and Queen Elisabeth watching on with a smile on their face. We see a moment where we see Skell and Poe and Quentin and Goldie, and they're at the train station and they're upset. Skell is upset because he wanted to lose his virginity and enter adulthood, but he wasn't able to. Instead, he got turned into a ghoul and almost ate his friend. And Poe is just like, just be glad that you're still alive. Meanwhile, Goldie is upset because he lost his weapon and his golden armor. And Quinn's like, just be glad that you're still alive. And so, yeah, that was a nice little funny moment. And that's pretty much it. We get the credits. Then we get a post-credits scene where we see Sid arriving on a train. He like boards the train at night. And he turns into Shadow. And he basically says, so what did you want? And across from him is Yukimi. So, yeah, the episode ends with him having a meeting with Yukimi. And I'm assuming this is basically going to lead into the next arc, which, if I remember correctly, I don't remember the name of the arc, but it's the it has to deal with money. Basically, I don't know if I want to spoil her. No, I won't spoil it. I will just say that Sid picks a hilarious name for his new disguise, and he teams up with Yukimi to take on, I should say, a surprising quote-unquote enemy. And it's not really an enemy so much as it's just Sid being jealous. That's all I'll say. Assuming that's actually what the next arc is, it's hilarious. But yeah, there you go. There's episode 3, season 2, aka episode 23 overall, The Hour of Awakening. It was freaking hilarious. Just, first off, I love Aurora. She's just awesome. Her as the nurse and just like her goofy antics and her trying to copy Sid's atomic and pissing off Beta in the process was hilarious. Speaking of Beta gushing over Sid protecting her and the Shadow Garden members and saying that, I won't lose a single one, and assuming that it's Sid, but it's actually just the gold coins that he's trying to protect. Yeah, this was great. I loved it. There you go. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you next time. Take care. Later.